What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Apologies, we had to delay it by 15 minutes, man. The camera was flashing low battery. Last time I tried to do it while charging, it locked off. So I said, let me just wait 15 minutes and make sure it's all correct, you know. Big up everyone on this Wednesday. Hope you are well. Again, man, it feels like we got to wait days and days and days before another Arsenal game, man. This is the price that you pay for not being in Europe. You know, we played on the weekend and now we got to wait until Sunday afternoon before we play again, man. It's long, people. And you just think, you know, if we'd have beaten Sporting Lisbon, we'd have been playing Juventus what day? Thursday, we would have been playing Juventus. So it's going to be interesting how that goes. Does it work in our favour not playing midweek? Because I got to be honest, as a player, I always preferred playing midweek. If you offered me Monday to Friday training or you play a game on Wednesday, I always wanted a game. You know, training was just kind of for me. Maybe that's the reason I didn't reach them top levels, you know, because maybe I should have loved training. But I just wanted to play games, you know. So, hey, big up, Broads. Hope you're well, my brother. Fresh trim, gun man was telling the barber, come out of my... Yo, big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself. Hope everyone's well. Big up Curtis and the C Unit community. Hope everyone is well. Blessings, people. Blessings on this Wednesday. Before we start, man. Manchester City. I mean... we're up against a machine here, aren't we? This is Terminator. This is RoboCop. This is Ivan Drago. It's all of the above, people. Bayern Munich, I'm thinking, all right, City probably beat Bayern Munich, but at least make sure they have two difficult games. You know, you make them go to Germany with everything to play for. This is like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas back in the day when the rating went up on the stars, 5 stars, police were on you, the chopper was out. You had your little cheat codes written down, up, down, left, right, R1, R2, L1. You know what I mean? You had to throw, if you know, you know. If you're younger, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But a lot of you will know. The cheat codes, Grand Theft Auto, I had them written down on paper. You know how it goes. These men are literally the cheat code. Like, I'm looking at Bayern Munich like, yep, you've just beat PSG. You're the best team in Germany. You're going to cause problems for this City team. And City could have won that game 6-7-0. I mean, I need somebody to check Upamecano's Sky Bet account this morning, because was that match fixing or was that match fixing? I mean, I shouldn't even joke about this because I just seen on Sky, actually, and this obviously isn't no joke, that Upamecano was racially abused by Bayern Munich fans last night on social media, which is obviously totally unacceptable. But what kind of blood clot performance was that from Upamecano last night? Remember when we was trying to buy this man for like 70 million? This guy's sliding around on the floor, giving away passes, getting nutmegged by Bernardo Silva. What kind of idiot performance was that from Upamecano? The same Upamecano that, you know, had a good game against England in the World Cup. Idiot performance that from him, man. I don't know. He must have 10 grand on Man City to win the Champions League. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, let me talk about Leroy Sané, because remember the other week we were talking about Sané, and a lot of people in the comments were saying, nah, for me, he was the only decent player for Bayern Munich last night. Gnabry didn't play well. Kingsley Coman looked like he was playing with ice skates on. Musiala did nothing. Mane came on late. Sané was their only decent player. I would take him every single day of the week at Arsenal. I know, look, I don't watch him every week, but he still looks sharp to me. He looked quick as well. Big up my lettuce, man. Thank you for becoming a member on the channel. Hope you are well and appreciate you joining as a member. Bleck said, big up Big C, thoughts on Lukaku incident racism. I mean... do you know what? I get tired of talking about it, but at the end of the day, when you've got an opportunity to speak on a platform, you should speak about it. I think I think black players in particular are going to have to do something big. I think they may have to walk off in a game or something. They need to damage the product to make UEFA respond and FIFA and them, because the product continues regardless of the race. Our players racially abused, but UEFA go, yeah, okay, yeah, but 70,000 were in there, 2 million watched it on TV, all the sponsors paid their money. Yeah, they don't care. Oh, yeah, let's take one knee and put a fist up. Oh, yeah, that'll stop them. That'll stop them all, won't it? I think you got to damage the product. Big Champions League quarter-final, every black player walk off the pitch, abandon the game, mash up the product. Sponsors will look at that and go, rah, we just paid these man 10 million and they walked off the pitch after 20 minutes. All the fans want their money back. I don't know. I don't have the answers, people. If you got suggestions, I'm more than willing to speak about it, but I don't know. I think you got to damage the product. That would be my suggestion. Wearing a t-shirt, kick racism out. Yeah, what's that going to do? Going down on one knee and putting your fist up. What's that going to do? I don't know. I don't know what you can do. I think they got to walk off the pitch. I think they got to walk off. I think a lot of these players got to stop going to certain clubs in certain countries as well. That's another thing. But apart from that, I don't know. I don't know. And this is why I always say, you know, with Stan Collymores and that, yeah, now you've retired, you want to turn into Malcolm X. But when you was a player, you didn't do anything. You didn't speak up. A lot of these players, they don't want to speak about it. And that's the problem. So, hey, I'm not sure. I don't have the answer. But it's difficult. Black players should stop going to Italy and play football. It's crazy, isn't it? Black players need to unite, walk off the pitch. I'm telling you, damage the product. That's the only suggestion that I would have. Taking the knee, all of that, it was just a little token gesture. Let's take the knee. All right, cool. What's that gonna do? But anyway, let me not get too caught up on it. But yeah, but as we were saying anyway, people, Man City. I think what we've got to do as Arsenal fans is just focus on ourselves. Because if you watch that Man City team, it makes you think we're not winning the league. I'm just saying it as it is. I watched that Man City team last night and I thought they could win the treble. They've got Sheffield United FA Cup semi-final. They play Brighton or Man U in the final. I think they win the FA Cup. Champions League, I think if they get past Madrid in the semi-final, if Madrid beat Chelsea, I think City win the Champions League. They've already beaten Bayern Munich. The second leg's a write-off. Premier League, they just don't look like dropping points. But the only thing that we can take out of it is if we can win probably 7 out of the last 8, we win the title. Easier said than done, of course. Rodri with the left foot finish in the top corner. I was trying to take positives out of it and say, look, we want City to beat Bayern Munich because we want them to play more games. Kevin De Bruyne came off limping yesterday. You know, I think... But actually, when I watched the game, I wanted them to lose. But I don't know if either way, which position. Is it better for them to lose and lose confidence? Is it better for them to win and have more games? I don't know, people. I'm seeing a repeat of 1999. Somebody just said there. Where was that comment? That's a good... 1 of 12. I'm seeing a repeat. Could they win the treble? Black said Tuchel doesn't deserve the benefits of Nagelsmann. They were shocking yesterday, Bayern Munich. Facts, just that's all we can do. Focus on us. I'm at the point now. People go, "Oh, you're doing a watch along on Man City." I say, listen. I think for the benefit of Arsenal, we just stay away from Manchester City. Don't watch their games. Don't watch their highlights. Go on your app on your phone at 90 minutes. Check the score. Oh yeah, they beat Bayern 3-0. Lock it off. Don't watch the game. Don't watch the highlight. I don't want to watch Man City until they play us. Apart from that, I'm staying well away from them. I don't want nothing to do with them. It doesn't help your confidence. I see no changes, as Tupac would say. I'm telling you, Arsenal fans, I'm telling you now, stay away from Manchester City. Don't watch their games. It ain't good for us. Madrid v Chelsea watch along. Could do that. That's not a bad game, actually. I might do that later. Big up comedy clips. But yeah, man, I'm locking off Man City games from now on. I don't want to watch it. I'll watch snooker. I'll watch anything. We'll watch the Fishing Channel. I'll watch Impractical Jokers on Comedy Central. Stay away from it. It ain't good for your confidence. Anyway, let's talk about Arsenal. Forget Man City. You know, they're a cheat code anyway. Let's get this investigation done now. I want them sacked. I want everything pulled apart. It's not going to happen though, is it? I thought today was just a regular Wednesday, people. Just a regular Wednesday. It's quite windy outside, by the way. I thought it was a regular Wednesday. I set up the stream. Gravenberch being linked with Arsenal. Saliba, we're going to talk about Saliba. But today is not a normal Wednesday. And I tell you why it's not a normal Wednesday, people. Because the dream is back alive. Wilfried Zaha is being linked with Arsenal. Don't go anywhere, people. Just when you thought it was finished, it comes back with a bang. Wilfried Zaha FC is back in full effect. Yes, come on, people. Arsenal, Monaco, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund have expressed an interest in signing Wilfried Zaha. The player wants Champions League football. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away. Yes, come on. All we need is the Fabrizio. Here we go. And it's happening, people. Some things, some things are just destiny. You can't deny destiny, Now, we're not in a time machine. It's not 2019. It's not Julian Draxler. It's not Yanam Villa. It's not Gonzalo Higuain. It's not Karim Benzema. Are we going to finally complete the deal? Don't get me wrong. It's a little bit late. I can't lie. It's a little bit late. Maybe we needed this in 2018, 2019. Nimbo! He said, that's it. He said if I mentioned Zaha again, he would unsubscribe. I'm only reporting the news, my friend. I'm only reporting the news. We're going to have to do a poll on this. I can't avoid this. E. Ross said, can we talk about City instead? Man, don't want to speak about Wolf. Listen, you go on social media, type in Zaha right now. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, people. Zaha, free agent, being linked with a move to Arsenal this summer. He wants Champions League football. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest. Right, I'm going to be totally honest. And you guys know I'm Wilfried Zaha FC. I've wanted him at Arsenal for years. But I think we got to look elsewhere, haven't we? Do you know what? It's one of them. If we signed him, I would still come on here and shamelessly dress this up in a positive way. I would. Because let me tell you the only way I'd take it as a positive. This is the only way. There's only two ways that this is a positive. Number one, you're getting him for free. Right? You're getting him on a free. And if you look at games like Liverpool on the weekend, Saka was not having a great game. Robertson's on a yellow card. If you're bringing on Zaha with 20, 30 minutes to go, even though he is better on the left than the right, it's still better than what we're bringing on at the moment. Off the bench. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, you've got Trossard as well, but he's better than what we've got. For me, you've got to be going Leroy Sané. Moussa Diaby I haven't seen enough of, so I'm not going to put my hat on him and say he's the one, because I don't know how good he is, to be honest. Moussa Diaby at Leverkusen. But looking at Sané yesterday, I'm like, listen, brother, get that guy back to England. Because out of that shocking performance from Bayern Munich, Leroy Sané was their only positive. Probably Kimmich in midfield was good. But this, it's just strange, isn't it? Because with Arsenal, kind of the deals that we think they should do and the deals that we do, they don't often align themselves, do they? That's the thing. So it actually, again, it wouldn't surprise me if we went there, but I just think I think it'd be too much for Arteta to manage, because you can't guarantee him first team football as well. South London's finest. I'm sure Big C gets a few millions if he comes to Arsenal. He's happy to brown envelope settings. Do you know what it is? I'll be honest with you. As you know, and I told you this a number of times, I've been friends with Yannick Bolasie for about 15 years. And I used to go and watch him play for Palace on a regular basis when him and Zaha were just cage footballing the fullbacks of the Premier League. Just doing madness to man in the Prem. And I spoke to him a number of times after games, Zaha. First of all, he's a massive gooner. And I mean, he's a proper Arsenal fan, like we're Arsenal fans. He loves Arsenal. And we should have signed him, obviously, when we signed Nicolas Pepe. We know the reason we didn't sign him was just finances. Palace wanted about 50 million up front, 70 million overall. We got Pepe on some layaway Klarna business. And he was desperate to join the club. He put in a transfer request and everything. The problem you've got now is on 150 grand a week. He's going to want that or more. He's 31 in November. He's had a few injury issues this season. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. Listen, he's better than what we've got at the moment coming off the bench outside of Trossard. If you was taking Saka and Martinelli off and you was bringing on Trossard and Zaha, that's decent. However, I just think there's players that should be above him. If we win the title, or even if we come second, I think you've got to go bigger and show a little bit more ambition than Zaha, to be honest. And the problem is that he is better on the left than the right. He can play on the right. I've seen him play on the right before, but he's definitely better on the left. So, listen, even though I'm Wilfried Zaha FC, begrudgingly, he wouldn't be at the top of the list. But I'll be honest with you, he might be on the list. He might be on the list. Because what you got to look at is this. Saka is the certified number one right winger at Arsenal. So if you sign Sané, if you sign Diaby and you pay 50, 60 million for those guys, effectively you're bringing them in to sit on the bench because Saka's going to sign a new deal for 200 grand. He's going to start. We're bringing somebody in to compete, to push, but effectively he's probably going to sit on the bench. Arsenal, I'm just saying Arsenal, this isn't me. Arsenal might look at it and say, rather than spending 60 million on Leroy Sané or 70 million on Diaby, they might say, just get a Zaha on a free. He's better than Reece Nelson. He's better than Marquinhos. And have him as a squad player. He loves the club. He's a boyhood gooner. He would still be dangerous off the bench. That's how they might look at it. I'm not saying that's what I would do, but I'm just saying that's the way they might look at it. The reason I don't think we'll get Zaha, number one, I just don't think Arteta would go for Zaha. Number two, I think he would want to go somewhere and be a first-team player. I think you're right. Somewhere like Newcastle, I think would be a great move for him. He would start, he'd get big money, they'd be in Europe. So, yeah. But don't be surprised. We've seen Arsenal go down this route before, people. We all thought we was getting Caicedo. We got Jorginho. No disrespect. But you've seen how this works. We were buying a £70 million beast of a midfielder, and we came out with a £12 million fourth or fifth choice centre mid from Chelsea. You know, let's speak facts, people. So don't be surprised if something like this happens. Jake said, Curtis, have you heard Danny Ceballos to Arsenal on a free? I mean, listen, if that happened, I'd have to go on a 3-week timeout. I'm sorry. I don't want nothing to do with him. I'm telling you that much. Curtis, I did the calculations. We don't even need to beat Man City and Newcastle. Just don't lose, even if City win their other games. Is that right? Can we draw both of them and still win the league? We'll look at the league table shortly. Arsenal will sign a lot of free agents. You've got to look at these players like Tielemans, like Zaha, these other players as well, who are out of contract. Skriniar's out of contract in the summer. I think Arsenal will sign 1 or 2 free agents this summer. I really do. Edu loves a bargain, people. You know, he loves that sale rack in TK Maxx. But anyway, let's end the Zaha debate. Let me end the poll. We're not even going to talk about it for too long. I just thought it was good banter, to be fair. But like I said, don't be surprised if that kind of deal happens. 60% say yes. I can't believe that. 60%. Listen, let's get him in then. I'm with you. I'm going with the majority, people. Get him in, nice and cheap. Bring him off the bench for Saka, last 30 minutes. I'm with it, people. Zaha to the carpet. I don't think it's going to happen. Listen, Bayern Munich have got Choupo-Moting in their team. He's one of the worst strikers I've ever seen. He's better than the options we've got, Zaha, but I don't think it will happen. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, yellow tag merchant, man. The yellow tags in Sainsbury's that go on sale late in the day. Skriniar is going PSG. Oh, has that been confirmed already? It's a shame because he's a good defender. Very good centre-back. Champions League winner Danny, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, because then I can say World Cup winner Mustafi. It holds very little weight. We know there's context behind those kind of comments. Let me read these super chats. It's time we be real. Kieran Tierney is better going forward and better defending than Zinni. He would have more goals and assists if he played the same minutes. Defensively, definitely better. Going forward, not totally sure. I think going forward, Tierney's a bit one-dimensional. Runs down the line, puts crosses in. Defensively, 100% he's better than Zinchenko. The problem is, Alfred, we know what Arteta wants from his left-back, and what he wants, Tierney can't produce. And that's the problem. It's not always about who's better. It's about what you're better at and what they want from you. We're probably, a big part of the reason that we're top of the league is because we've dominated so many midfields this season. When we played Tottenham away, they had a two-man midfield. We ended up with 4 in there because we had Odegaard, Xhaka, Partey and Zinchenko. We demolished them. So I get it. There is a lot of conversation online at the moment from people that, Zinchenko needs to get dropped for Kieran Tierney. He's not good enough defensively, blah, blah, blah. And listen, I understand it. I was frustrated at Anfield the other day. I thought that Tierney should have come on for Zinchenko. But we can't dismiss what he has produced since he's been in this team. He's been instrumental. I know I had a bit of a joke the other day and said, listen, man, I can't believe the man was crying on the bench. But listen, Tierney is injury prone. And I actually don't think that Kieran Tierney has been an amazing defender for Arsenal. He's been good. He's been solid. But I've seen him get dealt with as well. So I think sometimes at Arsenal, and I know at football clubs in general, psychologically you become a better player when you're not playing, because you start to see the things that the other player can't do. And all of a sudden, Tierney's a world-beating left-back. He is a better defender, but I think we've got to respect what Zinni has produced this season. I think he's a massive part of the reason that we're top. I think he's probably been one of the best left-backs in the Prem this year. Defensively, he's never going to be elite defensively. City won the league with Fabian Delph at left-back. So, Alfred, I hear you, but I got to go with Zinni. I got to go with it. He's part of that midfield dominance. Alberto said very concerned about Arsenal right now, Curtis. Alberto, I think... Do you know one thing? I said this the other day. It's strange, isn't it? We're in such a great position. A position we didn't expect to be in at the start of the season. And it feels very difficult to enjoy the position that we're in at the moment, because it feels like we're being hunted down by Man City. And it's that fear factor that if we don't win the league, we've had all this hype of being top, and then you end up with no trophy and finish second. There is an element of disappointment, but I don't think we have to be that much concerned. I don't think it's time to press the alarm. I was disappointed we didn't beat Liverpool. My opinion is it was 2 points dropped, because I think when you're 2-0 up and in control of a game, you should win it. They're 8th in the league at the end of the day. However, I think the inexperience of the team and the manager cost us. Also, Anfield becomes a very unique environment once the crowd and the players are riled up, which did happen. So we don't have to panic. We need actually to stay calm and just think, okay, we got West Ham this week. Let's beat West Ham. We got Southampton the week after. Let's beat Southampton. Let's try and use them as an opportunity to get a goal difference up as well. And then it's the Man City game. I know we say it and it's boring, but we have to take it one game at a time and embrace the situation that we're in. Yeah, we know City are behind us and they are hunting us down, but the reality is, if we produce what needs to be produced, we win the league, no matter how good they are. It's down to us at the end of the day. So I get it. There is concern, but let's not panic at the same time, is what I would say. Black said, are you fit, bruv, or should we get Zaha? I mean, that's a good point, because Smith Rowe's got another year for me before we start questioning. I mean, I keep saying he's on the bench purely for vibes at the moment, because he doesn't even come off the bench. But they gave him a good contract. They gave him the number 10 shirt. He's not going to go anywhere. And the age difference. Zaha's 30. Smith Rowe's like, 21, 22. So I don't think they'll be moving on Smith Rowe just yet. Young Gunner said Sané was on smoke against City. I think we could get him for 50 or 60 mil. Diaby is a live wire but doesn't have Prem experience. What about Nonto from Leeds? Also, imagine us going after Musiala. I think Musiala wants to stay. I think he signed a new contract. But Sané, for me, last night, he looked proper. That looked like the old Leroy Sané. I didn't realise he still had so much pace and all of that. So, yeah, I would take Leroy Sané, especially after that performance. So big up Young Gunner with the super chat, bro. Garbo said, why don't we play Kieran Tierney at left back and Zinni in the Xhaka role, considering he is a midfielder? Again, the problem you've got, number one, Mikel Arteta loves Granit Xhaka. Number two, Granit Xhaka's actually having a good season, regardless of what may or may not have happened at Anfield. And he wants Zinni, he wants us to create four in midfield. If you played Zinni in midfield, that's three in midfield. Tierney can't do the inverted role. All these inverted roles like the new buzzword, innit, you know. Trent did it at times against us the other day. So if he hasn't done it all season, I don't see him doing it now while we're in sort of the final stretch. EC said City have Everton away in between the two Champions League semi-finals. I'm sure. Nah, I don't think they... Oh, the semis. Yep, you're right. I thought you said the quarters. Yeah, they do, and that's a tough game. Obviously, they got Leicester this weekend, which I think Leicester will get pumped. I can't lie. But Everton away will be difficult. I think City will drop points somewhere. Brighton away, Arsenal at home, Chelsea at home, Brentford away, Brighton, and I said Brighton and Everton. I think one of them, they'll take their foot off the gas slightly, especially with them Champions League games in between. Mike said these Tierney are a problem. I can guarantee we wouldn't be top without Zinni. People just don't understand football from a tactical lens. Relax. What I would say, this is what I would say, Mike. I don't think it goes as far as let's drop Zinchenko for Tierney. I don't agree with that. I think Zinchenko has earned that starting place this season. What I would say is that be flexible, Mikel, in games where I thought on Sunday they were dominating us. Salah was their best attacking player. You could see that. It wasn't Darwin Núñez. It wasn't Curtis Jones or whoever they were playing. It wasn't Jota. It was Salah. Salah scored, missed a penalty, produced a save of the season from Ramsdale. He was the danger. I think Arteta's got to recognise we're camped in. We can't get forward, so we can't get Zinchenko into midfield. Take him off for Tierney. Be defensively more solid. He went with Kivior, and I thought that was a big mistake from Arteta, and he needs to learn from those kind of decisions. He really does. Tierney can do the Zinni role, City at home last season, but can he do it as well? He can't step into midfield and have the quality on the ball that Zinchenko can have. You just can't. Zinchenko is a natural midfielder. You can see how comfortable he is in possession. He might be able to do it, but not do it at the same level, Patrick, in my opinion. Gunnarola said 7 wins and 2 draws wins as the league. I'm going to look at the league table because I actually didn't know that. I thought we had to draw 1 and win the others. I didn't know we could draw 2. I'll have a look. Jacob said, looking like this summer we are going from a pair of Brazilian wonder kids in Roque and Mateus Gonçalves. Thoughts? I mean, the wonder kid thing doesn't excite me too much because it's always a waiting game. I don't mind us buying the odd Brazilian wonder kid and seeing what happens. But I don't mind. If you can find the next Martinelli or something like that, then I don't mind. Abdullah said, Big C, everyone talking about the racism issue. No one is mentioning the French FA Muslim player breaking their fast issue. Double standard. Comments, please, Big C. Do you know what? I don't know the full facts on this. Is this that the French FA are not allowing players that are fasting to break their fast during the game? I believe that's what I read. I could be wrong, but let me know it. That's what I thought I saw. And yeah, it's ridiculous. It's fair play that the Premier League are making allowances for that. But I think I read that the French FA were not doing that. So there are a number of issues that need to be addressed in football, you know. Sometimes we're stuck in the Stone Ages. That is the problem. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, people. We're 30 minutes in. Nearly 2K in the chat. 50 odd of you on Twitch as well. Big up the whole C Unit community. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and follow the TikTok account, as many of you have been doing as well, people. Let's talk more transfer news. This was one of the headlines, although the Zaha one kind of snuck in ahead of this one. But it's Ryan Gravenberch, which is an interesting one. And the story actually came from a Liverpool journalist who is Paul Joyce, who is very good when it comes to Liverpool news. Liverpool were being linked with him, but he came out and said that Arsenal are actually the team that are chasing him. Arsenal admire FC Bayern Munich midfielder Ryan Gravenberch, who has struggled for minutes since moving to the Bundesliga side from Ajax last summer. It's believed that he's being encouraged to leave Bayern Munich in order to, secure his place in the Dutch team ahead of the Euros next year. It's believed this move has been very unsuccessful for him. He's 20 years of age. Apparently, he nearly joined Liverpool in January. He's only made 17 appearances. 11 of those have been starts and 6 from the bench. No goals and no assists. It's been a disastrous move for Gravenberch so far. And it's believed he could leave in the summer, as he believes he's simply not going to get game time due to the preference to play Kimmich and Goretzka. Would you guys take Ryan Gravenberch? They paid 25 million euros for him. It's believed they want around 40 million euros to consider a sale, which is around 35 million pounds, which in this day and age, 20 years of age, centre mid, Dutch international, was very hyped up at Ajax. Obviously doesn't have Premier League experience. Is he better than the players that we're being linked with? I don't know, but I think he's a little bit raw. Don't get me wrong, he's not the finished article. I personally think Arsenal need 2 midfielders this summer, but he's tall, he's mobile, and for 40 million euros, 35 million pounds, I think he would be an absolute bargain. I think he's got massive potential. And I think we need players that are mobile, physical presence, younger as well, because we have a number of 30-plus-year-old centre mids. So for me, I would definitely be interested in this deal at 40 million euros. What do you guys think? Would you take him? Has anybody seen a lot of him? What is he more? When I've watched him, I thought he was more of a box-to-box midfielder. Doesn't score many goals, even at Ajax. 2 goals, 3 goals. I would say he's not really a goal scorer. When I saw him, he looked a little bit more box-to-box, high energy, gets assists, but not really too many goals. He's 6'4" as well. 6'3", sorry. So he's a tall presence. And I would like us to get him. I think he's a very good player. Albert Sambi says, what about me? I mean, the less said about Sambi, the better, people. He's defo box-to-box. Yeah, box-to-box. McAllister is better, says Fraser. Good point. He might be. He would be more expensive, though. South London's fine. He said he's at 8, box-to-box. And listen, we're heading into a summer. He's better than Xhaka for me. Certainly in terms of potential, that is for sure. Uzi said, Curtis, I'm a Bayern fan. He is at 8/10. I think that we're heading into a transfer market where midfielders are going to be very, very much available. A lot of you would have saw yesterday that Liverpool have pulled out of the race to sign Jude Bellingham. And a lot of people are laughing at Liverpool fans. I get it. Liverpool fans have been saying for the last year they're getting Jude Bellingham. However, if you look at it, Liverpool are getting rid of Milner, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Dortmund want 130 million for Jude Bellingham. His agent wants 10 million. And Bellingham wants 250 grand a week. That's £1 million a month on a 6-year contract. That deal is going to cost an absolute fortune for a player that no matter how good we think he is, and I think Bellingham is going to be outrageously good, he's never played in the Premier League. He's played in the Championship and he's played in the Bundesliga. Now, Jadon Sancho was a world beater in the Bundesliga and he hasn't set the Premier League on fire. I think Liverpool have probably looked at it and gone, you know what? Rather than buying Bellingham for 130, they'll probably go and get Mason Mount or McAllister or they'll go and get 2 midfielders. So this is a very good market to go and get midfielders. Gravenberch will be available possibly. Tielemans is out of contract. Wouldn't be my one that I would go for, but on a free as a squad player, there will be clubs that will take him. Maddison, if Leicester get relegated, which they're second bottom at the moment, a lot of clubs would take Maddison for a reduced price. Declan Rice, of course, and Rice could still go down with West Ham. You would get him cheaper. Ruben Neves, that's a great point. I think he will leave this summer. He hasn't signed a new contract. There are loads of midfielders. And, you know, Caicedo, McAllister, I think in the summer you'd be able to get one of them. Bellingham obviously will go for huge, huge numbers. So you've got to be very smart with the kind of players that you're looking for in this window. And Leicester have got a lot of players if they get relegated. Samare, Castagne, Tielemans and Didi, Maddison, Barnes. I mean, Barnes, I think, is a decent winger as well. He would get a good move, especially if Leicester got relegated and you got him on a cheap. Mateus Nunes being linked with Liverpool. So Arsenal have got no excuse. I think, Milinkovic-Savic, another 1 year left on his contract. This summer is the midfielders market. There is no doubt about it, and there is no excuse, which is why I've said many times, Arsenal, in my opinion, should not be giving a new contract to Mohamed El-Neni, because you've got Partey, you've got Xhaka, and you've got Jorginho. There's your three, right? Then for me, they should be buying 2 centre mids this summer. Paulinho's another very good centre mid that could be available. So you go and get maybe a Milinkovic-Savic who's more attacking, and then you get somebody a little bit more defensive, whether that's, Caicedo or Declan Rice or Paulinho, or you want a box-to-box like Ryan Gravenberch. Or even if you get a Tielemans on a free as a squad player. I don't think we're excited by Tielemans, but he's still better than players like Mohamed El-Neni. So there is options out there, and there is no excuse. And Onana as well at Everton is another one. There is tons of midfielders. Zubimendi as well. Tons of midfield. Listen, I'm going to be honest. And I'm saying this. And this is a great point, Gus. Right? I got a lot of criticism about Jorginho. And I said this the other day. When he scored his goal against Villa. Although it wasn't given as his goal. I would still get rid of Jorginho this summer. I would get rid of him. I think he's come in. He's done a job. He's experienced. He's good on the ball. I still think you could move him on in the summer. The only reason they probably won't move him on is because in the Champions League, in the group stages, he might be effective because he's very good in possession. And a lot of those games, it is about possession as well. But I think El-Neni and potentially Jorginho could be moved on this summer, in my opinion, because the list of midfielders that you could potentially get this summer is outrageous. This is one of the best markets I've probably ever seen to go and get midfielders this summer. I mean, there's a list here. I mean, Bellingham would have been the dream. Dare you to tweet that, bro? You know me. I'll throw out that grenade. Hey, big up my brother Kev in the chat. Super Kevin Campbell. Hope you're well, Big C. We will get the right player regardless of the names mentioned. The fit is key, and you're right. You're right. It's not all about the name, is it? It's about the one that settles in the best. I mean, you got Bellingham, Rice, Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher, Caicedo, Gravenberch, Paulinho, Barella. I mean, I didn't hear that Barella was available. I think he's a brilliant player. Mateus Nunes, Yuri Tielemans, and obviously ones that we've mentioned on top of that. So Edu and Arteta were centre midfielders. So they should be looking at it saying, okay, let's go and get a midfielder. By the way, on this list, get Conor Gallagher off that list. I don't want nothing to do with him. I think he's so overrated, by the way. He's being linked with West Ham today, actually, as a Declan Rice replacement. So we'll have to see. We will have to see. But midfield, there's bags of quality. And yeah, for me, Rice and Peas fits perfectly. Kev's all over this Declan Rice one. There's a story this morning that West Ham have approached Chelsea for Conor Gallagher. So I think West Ham are quietly probably accepting of the fact that Rice is going to go. He's got a year left. He hasn't renewed. They just want to stay up, try and win the Conference League. And I think Declan Rice leaves this summer. Interesting this morning that Liverpool are now being linked with Declan Rice due to the fact that the Jude Bellingham deal has collapsed. So it's going to be interesting. I think there'll be a lot of competition in midfield this summer, that is for sure. But but there's great options there. Exciting options as well. Would you take Oxlade-Chamberlain on a free? Absolutely 100% no chance that I would take the Ox at Arsenal. Ox is not a top-level midfielder. He never has been. He was always better on the wing. He looked good at the start at Liverpool. He had that bad injury, and he was never the same player. So I don't want nothing to do with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Is Declan Rice world-class, says Dre? For me, no. I don't think he's done enough to be considered world-class yet. I think you're signing him with a view that could he be potentially become a world-class midfielder. I think it's very difficult to become world-class at West Ham. No disrespect. Who's the last player at West Ham that became world-class? I think the closest you've seen to world-class at West Ham in recent years is probably Dimitri Payet. You know, he was an absolute baller. But no, I don't think Declan Rice is definitely not world class, but he's a very good centre mid in the Prem. It's can he go to that next level? Carlos Tevez, yeah, Tevez, Lampard, Payet. Obviously Lampard a little bit further back. Yeah, Tevez, those guys, and that was years ago, absolute years ago. This is why Arsenal going for Bon. Listen, man, he ticks the boxes. You know what? You know how it goes with Arteta. Arteta's very specific about the kind of player that he wants. Mascherano was a baller as well. Payet is a streets won't forget player. I got to be honest. I remember watching Payet against Arsenal, and I come away from the game thinking he should be playing for us. I loved Dimitri Payet. I thought he was an outstanding footballer. I would love Caicedo and Rice. I think it would be one or the other. Would you take Walcott? You're crazy, bro. Definitely not. Payet was nasty. Rio Ferdinand, yeah, he was world class. But maybe not when he was at West Ham. I think he became world class a little bit further down the line. Would you take Evan Ferguson over Eddie? He's a good player. Very good player. I think he will get a move. Probably not yet from Brighton. He still hasn't played that much, but I think in the future, he's got all the minerals. Big, strong player. Di Canio, yeah, he was a baller as well. Let's move on. De Jong, a lot of you saying De Jong, but De Jong's had a good year at Barca, and they're probably going to win the league. But they do need to raise a lot of money in the summer. So you never know. He's another one, but he's on 350 grand a week. Let's talk injury news, people. Bad news on the William Saliba front once again. Sky were reporting it yesterday. It's all over the news. And William Saliba has still not returned to training since sustaining a back injury, and he's unlikely to play against West Ham on Sunday. Arsenal are worried about rushing him back and aggravating the injury. I mean, this... it's becoming a little bit of a worry. I've got to admit, I watched back the Arsenal-Liverpool game, right? Which I do sometimes, because sometimes I do the review on Monday and I haven't watched the game back. And when you're doing a watch-along, you miss parts of the game. And Rob Holding, I thought, had an okay game against Liverpool. But I think you saw the difference. One thing that I noticed watching the game back was Rob Holding cleared the ball upfield a lot of the time. He got the ball and he didn't have that same calmness that Saliba has. A lot of the time, Holding was pumping it upfield. Van Dijk or whoever, Konate, would win the header and it came straight back to us. Now, we play West Ham away on Sunday, which will be a difficult game, by the way. You know, they're fighting for their lives. They won at the weekend. You know what West Ham are going to give you at home. It'll be lively. Antonio and Bowen and Declan Rice will want to put in a performance. He could potentially sign for us. You would like to think that we can get away with Holding and Gabriel at centre-back together against West Ham, and even after that against Southampton. I suppose the worry is Saliba going to be back for the Man City game? We shouldn't be in this position, first of all, because signing a centre-back in January should have signed somebody that went ahead of Rob Holding. Kivior is clearly not ready to do that. But the interesting thing about this Saliba thing is that they're saying that Saliba needs an operation. This injury is so bad it requires surgery. And Saliba himself has said to the club, postpone it until the summer. I'm prepared to miss part of pre-season to do this and finish the season, you've just got to hope that him playing maybe 4, 5, 6 games doesn't damage this back injury further. And back injuries are very, very fragile. We need him back for Man City. I'm sorry. We've all seen what City are about at the moment. You cannot play against that City team with Rob Holding. You've got to get him back. So it's an interesting one. He's not back on the training ground yet. He's not going to play against West Ham. He hasn't trained. I think it was like March the 16th when we played against Sporting Lisbon. So he's been out for nearly 4 weeks. He's still not back in training. And he won't play against West Ham at the weekend. We play Southampton next Friday. Possibly gets back for that. But if not, Man City. But the Man City game, he would have been out for nearly 6 weeks with no game time. So it's going to be interesting. In other news, though, is Eddie Nketiah is back in training. So, yeah, Eddie's back. It's another option if Jesus comes off. But Jesus played very well in the last couple of games. And I think Jesus needs to be getting 90s now, especially with 1 game a week. But Eddie Nketiah is back. Is he having the op? He is out for the season. If he is having the op, he is out for the season. Yeah, he is. If he has the op, he's out for the season. But apparently Saliba has gone to the club and says, listen, let's just recover, finish the season, have the operation. If you miss summer pre-season, it's not the end of the world. But they're going to have to manage him carefully, because if you rush him and he damages it and then he's out for the season, we're a mess. It's probably better for him to miss West Ham, even maybe miss the Southampton game, as you would feel like we could win both of those games. We need him back for Man City. So, Kev said Saliba needs to be right and don't mess with a back injury. They're just injuries you can't play with. They can just go and they mash up and they're very fragile. So, I sensed your enthusiasm with Eddie being back. Big C. You know what I mean, people? I can't dress it up, people. When I'm enthusiastic about something, you can just see it. I can't hide it. And when I'm not, I'm just not. Big up Eddie. He's back in training. Let's keep it moving. There's not a lot more I can say apart from that, people. Eddie's back in training. Alfred, big up yourself with the super chat. He said, there aren't any world-class players in any positions in the world right now that are 30 or younger. All the world-class players are at the end. I mean, Alfred, there is a few. If you look, Mbappe, Haaland, those guys are younger. There are a few, but I know what you're saying. A lot of top players are 30 plus. You look at Benzema, you look at Lewandowski, you look at Luis Suarez over the last few years, Messi, Ronaldo. I think Neymar's nearly 30. A lot of that sort of bracket are 30 plus. But there is a new wave of player coming through, isn't there? When you look at like Pedri and Bellingham and Haaland and Saka and Mbappe, there is a group there. The problem is, if you do have a world-class player that's in his 20s, he's going to cost you an absolute fortune. You're not going to get him. Vinicius Jr. as well. You're not going to get these guys for, if you went to buy Vinicius off Real Madrid, not that he would leave them anyway, but he's going to cost you well over 100 million, and we just don't pay that kind of money at the moment. That's the problem. I think there is a very good young generation coming through, though. But they're expensive. Ziggy said, Big C, tell Arteta to stop taking Jesus off so early. Bro, I said it on Monday. Last week, I understood it. Right? It was his first start, 60 minutes, take him off. At Anfield, I thought he was cooking. I thought he was playing really well. And I thought we took him off too early. I think he should have played the whole game. I thought Saka, if anything, is the one that should have got taken off. But hey, here's what it is, Ziggy. He ain't going to listen to me. Samuel said, I've not seen you on Talkish Cheap AFTV in a while. All good. Everything's good, bro. Honestly, I don't know what's going off this week. We were supposed to do it Monday. Laurie wasn't available. They said Tuesday or Wednesday. I still haven't heard what day. The last 2 weeks was me. I was away both the Mondays. So we'll be back there eventually, but I can't tell you what day at the moment, people. Sambi is world class. I mean, he's world class at skating around the pitch and not doing much. I don't know about that. A lot of you saying Vinicius is not world class. Would you say he's not? I find it difficult to. A lot of you have said that Saka is world class. I'm not sure how we can say Saka's world class and Vinicius isn't. I don't know. That's just me. He scored the winning goal in the Champions League final. He scored 27 league. No, not league goal. He scored 27 goals in all competition last year and got 15 assists and won the Champions League and scored the winning goal in the final. If Saka's world class, Vinny's world class. That's all I got to say, people. I don't know. We got to put the Arsenal bias aside. He's done it in the top brackets of football. Neither of them are well. I don't know. When we were talking about Saka the other day, a lot of people in the comments were saying Saka's world class. I was saying I don't think Saka is world class. But is Vinny not world class? 27 goals? Champions League winning goal? I don't know. I don't know, people. Let me know. I think he is. I'd say he's one of the best left wingers on the planet. So I don't know. They ain't world class. Vinny would cost you... How much would Vinny cost you? I'm not sure. Upwards of 150 million. And even then he wouldn't leave. He's at Real Madrid. Marcel said, bless up Curtis, my G. Who would you want as your main summer signing? Number one signing... I mean, listen, in Dream World, it would be Jude Bellingham. But as you know, Marcel, Jude Bellingham don't go to many teams right now. You know, he's probably going to end up at City or Madrid. I actually don't have the one player, really, that would be the dream signing that's realistic. Yeah, I'm not sure. I actually don't have one. It's a good question. It's a very good question. I do like Caicedo. Saka and Vinicius are not world class. Too early for both. I'll tell you one thing, though. There's a lot more on Vinny's CV than there is on Saka's. A lot more. You know, he's done it in the Champions League at the top level. But, hey, it is what it is. Saka is on his way. I would say he's on his way. I think Vinicius is slightly above Saka, though. I got to be honest, man. He's done it. He's been in them trenches, man. Look at him last year against Man City when he was nutmegging, man, and I think Vinicius one of the best left wingers on the planet. I would put him in world class. I think he cost you 200 million to get him out of there. In fact, I think he's definitely world class. In the modern game, for me, Vinicius is world class. He plays for Madrid. He's their best player after probably Benzema or in their attack. We'll see tonight. Watch what he does to Chelsea tonight. Alberto said, Big C Holding is not reliable on games like City. 100%. 100%. Vinny is a big game player. Very much so. I'm not going to just... I mean, I've seen a few of you saying he wasn't great in the World Cup, but Brazil flopped in the World Cup. Let's be honest. They've still got world-class players. They had Casemiro. They had Thiago Silva. They had Neymar. These men are still world-class. You know, I can't take it away from them. Vinny is consistent and dangerous. Vinny is an absolute demon, someone said. Clinton said, I believe Arsenal win the league after they beat City at their ground. I hope they do. Would you take Matoma? He's a good player. Again, though, I think he plays left wing, don't he, more than right. For me, I feel like you can't be world-class playing in any other league that's not the Prem. Aspas, Lacazette are top scorers contenders in their leagues. I think that's Premier League bias, though, man. I think when you play for Madrid and Barca, it's different. The level of expectancy and pressure playing for them clubs is like nothing, probably even in the Premier League. We've seen it in the past with Madrid. Madrid have binned players like Robben and, you know, like they don't even exist. I think sometimes, listen, we love the Prem. We support clubs in the Prem. So everything's Prem. Madrid are bigger, in my opinion, than any team in the Premier League. There's no club in the Prem that has the level of pressure that Real Madrid has. So I think I think we need to eliminate that Premier League bias a little bit. If you're playing for Madrid, you are at the pinnacle of football, in my opinion. You know, not how often do Man United and Arsenal and clubs in the Prem go and pull a player out of Real Madrid? Okay, Casemiro, but they were willing to let him go. He's 31. They were getting £60 million for a 31-year-old. Madrid are the creme de la creme of league and club football. So yeah, for me, I'm saying it. I think Vinicius is world class, but that's a debate in itself. Kingsley Coman is not world class. Did you see the state of him last night? I thought he was playing on an ice rink. He spent most of the time falling over. Vinny is elite. But anyway, let me not get distracted, because you love to get a debate going in the comments. But that's why the comments are goated, people. I love the conversation and the debate. Couple more things before we round up. We are going to finish looking at the Premier League table, of course, as I think we do every show. Curtis, if Vinicius is not world class, then what does world... this is what I'm saying. I was actually shocked when people in the comments were saying Vinicius is not world class. I'm like, what? He scored the winning goal in the Champions League final. He scored 27 goals last year for the best club in the world. I don't know how he can't be world class. He is a menace. He is a monster of a left winger, in my opinion. But listen, I respect. That's football. It's opinions. Gnabry is world class, done it at all levels. See, that's where I don't think Gnabry is world class. I don't think he is. Hasn't ripped it up really for Germany. And what has he really done for Bayern? He's all right. He's all right for Bayern. What's he got this season for Bayern Munich, Gnabry? He's got 9 goals. He's good in the Bundesliga. Sancho had better numbers than Gnabry, and Gnabry plays for the best team in Germany. I don't think Gnabry is world class. But listen, we could be here all day. We could be here all day having this. We'll be here till 10 o'clock tonight arguing. Maybe we'll have a show about it. What is world class? We'll do it. Do you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do a show. I'm going to get a tier list back. We haven't done it for a while. Going to get a tier list back, and we're going to get players, and we're going to debate if they're world class or not. But Vinny is world class, man. Come on. He's doing it for the best team in the world. But anyway, let's move on, because we'll be arguing about it all day. People saying it's Zaha. Don't, let's not get into that one. Let's not start that one. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We'll do a poll. World class debate. Saka, Rashford, Kvara, all these guys you wanna talk about. We'll have a debate. We'll have a massive debate. We might even... What day is it? We could even do that this week. We might even do that this week, because it's a quiet week. If Elliot's still in the chat, he'll be happy. We're talking about merch again. This is now confirmed pretty much to be Arsenal's home kit. This shirt is actually available online. It's being sold in China. I think you can buy it on eBay. I wouldn't recommend it. It's probably one of them shirts that will fall apart in the washing machine. But it's actually being sold online. I actually like it. I'm going to be honest. I like it. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not a big fan of the home kit this season. I didn't like the collar on it. And I definitely... The only thing with this, I'm not sure whether it needed the pattern on it, but I like it. I like it. I like the gold. Whether the badge should have been gold, I'm not sure. But if we're champions, it will be outstanding. I'll tell you that much. So this is definitely going to be the new home kit for next season. It's already on sale online from some unofficial websites, shall we say. But I like it. I wasn't that sure about it when I first saw it. But I do like it now. I think it actually lets you see the back of it as well. It looked quite similar. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's the back of it. It looks a little bit like the kit. I think the back of the kit where Aubameyang helped us win the FA Cup. I think that year. I'm sure the back of that one was similar to this. It's got that little gold stripe. They're loving the gold, aren't they? AFC. I like it. I actually like it. You'll see me wearing that on tour this summer, people. I'll be wearing that. Let's just hope we're champions of England wearing it rather than second. I actually think it's a nice kit. And with the round neck, I didn't like the collar on the kit this year and the button up. I weren't a fan of all that. It's a little bit old school. Alfred said, I think the world class level has dropped. We have to adapt to it. Sorry. Growing up, world class was Ribery, Neymar, Robben, Pires, Sanchez. 100%. You're spot on. And listen, I'm going to sound like an old man with what I'm about to say, but I used to say this all the time. I have so many arguments with people about world class. Growing up, if you said, name a world class striker, you'd be sitting here for Probably it would take you 2 or 3 minutes to name all the world-class strikers. There's that many of them. If I said name the world-class strikers now, you'd be finished in 20 seconds. Because you could go, okay, in England, you had Ian Wright, Andy Cole, Robbie Fowler, Alan Shearer. Monsters, these guys were. You could go to France, Henry, Anelka, Trezeguet. Unbelievable. You go to Argentina, Gabriel Batistuta. Monster. You go to Brazil, Romario, R9 Ronaldo, Thierry Henry, one of the best. You'd be there you'd be speaking about it for a long, long time. Yeah, Italy had Inzaghi, Christian Vieri. World class was like, you are elite, you are proven, you have done it at the top level. Del Piero. If you went centre-back, you'd be like Vidic, Ferdinand, Sol Campbell, Tony Adams, John Terry, Carvalho. You'd go to Italy, Cannavaro, Nesta. You go to Spain, Puyol, Ramos. You would be there. World class was just different. It was different. There was every position. There was ballers all over the place. And me, I agree with you. I've had to adapt. Because I look at players and I go, that brother ain't world class. What's he done? You ain't done enough to be world class. For me, to be world class, your CV has got to be stacked. You've done it in the Champions League. You might have done it in the World Cup. You've won a couple trophies. You're one of the best players in the world in your position. That's how I used to look at world class. Now, man, I've won one big season and they're world class. That's because we hype, because there's less players now in each position. So we hype them. We'd be there all day. You're throwing names galore. Baggio, Shevchenko, Maldini. You could be there all day. All day. And nearly the whole team. You look at 2002 England team. Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes in midfield and Beckham. And Michael Owen up front. And Ferdinand and... Unbelievable the levels back then. But now... You can have a year, 2 years. Oh, he's world class. Is he though? Have you done it? I tell you, I think you've got to have done it in the Champions League, because that's the elite. That's the best level of football at club level, and I think you've got to have done it at that level. Eto'o, Drogba, it's just different, innit? The level has dropped. Hernan Crespo, Rivaldo, it's different, man. Hullet, every single nation. I used to love Rui Costa for Portugal. Baller, Figo. Do you know what I mean? Clarence Seedorf and David centre mid for Holland. Bergkamp and Kluivert. It was different. It was different, people. And I know I sound like an old man. Yaya Toure, and they don't even know. These men would be worth 300 million in the modern game. How much would Ronaldinho be worth in the modern game? R9 Ronaldo. You wouldn't even be able to buy these, man. That's how good they would be. This is a good question. Has the death of 4-4-2 killed off the great strikers? There is absolutely no doubt it's had a huge effect. It's had a huge effect. I'm so glad I played in the time of 4-4-2. And even playing for AFTV, Broads is in the chat now. Because I just think the combinations that you can create as strikers. I love the 4-4-2 era. I think the last team, Atletico play it sometimes, but Leicester won it playing 4-4-2 with Vardy and Okazaki up front. I think 4-4-2 was elite, but Mourinho changed it all by saying you've got to dominate the midfield and playing free in midfield when he had Essien, Makelele and Lampard. And everything now is about winning the midfield battle. But I love 4-4-2. Remember we had Bergkamp and Henry up front, and, you know, them 4-4-2 days, man, were banging. But it's a lot harder to make it now as a striker because you've got to play up front by yourself, which means you've got to occupy two centre-backs, which is a lot of work. It's a wingers game nowadays. Wingers are now strikers. You look at a lot of teams now, the winger scores more than the striker. Firmino gets 10 goals, Salah gets 30 goals. You know, Mane was getting 25. It's a wingers game now. You know, you look at back in the day, your Beckhams, your Pires, your Lundbergs, although Pires got a few more, but these guys were getting 5 goals a season. I saw a debate yesterday, they were debating Salah and Beckham, but you can't compare them because Beckham was getting 5 goals a season, Salah's getting 25. Wingers are the new strikers. Strikers are the link player. Get the ball to you, hold it, link up, chip in with your goals, and the wingers will be your top scorers. Hopefully it does come back around. It only takes like a Real Madrid or a Barca to go 4-4-2. You know, football swings in roundabouts. It all changes. But yeah, it's a great question. I think 4-4-2 definitely has damaged strikers. Because why are we not producing strikers like we used to? It's the most popular position on a football pitch. You ask most kids, what position do you want to play? 90% of them will say, I want to play up front. I want to be a striker. I want to score goals. Because they play 4-3-3, effectively, you only need 2 strikers at that club. One who starts, one who sits on the bench. When it was 4-4-2, you had 2 starting and 2 on the bench. Arsenal had Bergkamp and Henry. On the bench, they had Carnu and Wiltord. Now, you only need one of them. If Thierry Henry was playing now, he would probably have played left wing. You know, I used to drift to that left. He would probably be playing in the position that Martinelli's playing on that left-hand side. So, it's just crazy. Football it's totally changed. It's totally changed. Zach said, scoring in the Champions League final doesn't make you world class. You're a hero to your club, but the level of world class is Neymar, Robben, Alexis, Ribery, Hazard. That's world class. But I know we're going back here to the Vinicius debate. It's not like Vinicius didn't do anything and then turned up in the Champions League final and bagged. He scored 27 goals last season in that Real Madrid team. He was outstanding last season for Madrid. Even this season, you know, against Liverpool, didn't he score 2 goals? But anyway, we'll save it for the show. We're going to do a show. We're going to have a world-class debate. We're going to do a tier list. And we're going to have a good old debate on what world-class is nowadays. Could Vinicius do it on a rainy night in Stoke? By the way, Havertz scored in a Champions League final. Again, context. Scored in a Champions League final. But Vinicius led them to that Champions League final with Benzema. Henry would have been a Gakpo at PSV. Oh, nah, don't. That's a timeout. I didn't go that far. Let's end the show by looking at the league table. Arsenal forever, said Curtis. I reckon we'll get 19 points from our 8 remaining games. That would take us to 92 points. Let's have a look at the league table. Let's have a look. Let's see this question. Darius, yo, Curtis, what is Arsenal waiting on to tell Ornstein to put out the article that Balogun costs at least 70 million? Bro, we can't get 70 million for him. Edu don't accept cash. Wasim said, Big C, I introduced you to the other half of the Arsenal-Liverpool watch-along. She wasn't too impressed with the weird looks. We was getting to your reactions. Volume on loud for my 30th birthday dinner. Bro, the 30th birthday dinner, and I'm having a meltdown in the background when Salah's scoring. It's not a good look. You might have needed the headphones for that one. Gunnar Roller said, France 98 world-class winning team started the dominant 5-man midfield and with a dud up front. Who was up front? Was it Anelka or Thierry? Go easy, man. You can't slander them French Arsenal strikers. Unless it's Yaya Sanogo, then, you know, we don't mind. Anyway, let's finish off with the league table. And the Balogun story, I didn't actually talk about it, but there's a rumour that Arsenal want around 30 to 40 million euros for Balogun, which the 30 million euros is around 26, 27 million pound with add-ons. We're saying we should be getting 70 million for him. We'll probably get 25 million plus add-ons for Balogun. But we'll save that for tomorrow's show, people. So we'll have to see. Broad said, quickly, what's your thoughts on Wrexham, Notts County situation? National League is great. It's brilliant. I played in that league. It was exciting. It was entertaining. These two have taken it to another level. I think Wrexham will win the league with Ben Foster in goal. Obviously, they beat Notts County. He saved the penalty. Hopefully, Notts County win the playoffs. So, yeah, man. Premier League table. So, 7 wins. No, people were saying earlier 6 wins, 2 draws. So, 6 wins gives us 18 points, which takes us to 91. 2 draws takes us to 93. So, then City have 9 games left. If they drew to us, that takes them to 68, and then they won their remaining 8 games. That takes them 24 points, 92. You're right. I actually didn't know that. I mean, listen, it's always crazy when you do it. So we can actually afford to draw to Newcastle and draw to Man City, win the remaining 6 and win the league. I actually didn't know that. That's crazy. But listen, getting a draw at Manchester City is not easy. You've seen it. They slapped up Liverpool the other week, even being 1-0 down. So it's easier said than done. But this is what it's going to come down to. All we can do for now, beat West Ham this Sunday. I know as fans, we always look ahead, and I totally get that. But we've just got to beat West Ham. Beat West Ham on Sunday. West Ham is a difficult game. And like you said, Broads, we can't go City and think, well, we can get a draw. You can't do that. You got to go there and beat them and try and beat them. And if you fall into drawing the game, then it's a positive. If they go there with the mindset that let's try and draw, all of a sudden you get beat and the title's out of your hands. Yeah, I was doing quick maths, man. Carol Vorderman settings there. I think I got a B in maths. A B? I think I got a B. Who is your favourite player of all time? My favourite player of all time is R9 Ronaldo, because as a young striker growing up, he was the first player that I saw and said, he looks better than everybody else that I've ever watched. At that time, you know, when you're young, you're impressionable. I was watching a lot of football, and he was the first player that I looked at and I thought, he looks better than anyone I've ever seen. Like, he was just the one for me as a young striker. I bought the Chrome Vapors. He was the best. He is the best striker I've ever seen, in my opinion. That's despite 2 serious knee injuries. From an Arsenal point of view, Thierry is the guy. Thierry means more to me because he was us. He was Arsenal. He is my favourite player of all time. In terms of entertainment and pure enjoyment, it's Ronaldinho. So those 3 are my 3 favourite players of all time. R9 is my favourite. He was my idol, the best striker I've ever watched. Thierry is my Arsenal GOAT. And Ronaldinho is probably the most enjoyable that I've ever seen. So that's my top 3. Crazy that I don't even put Messi in my top 3, but they were the ones for me. Messi would probably be the next one, but them 3 for me. Quickly, who's your favourite player? Who's your favourite player of all time? Because it's interesting. I like to know who's your favourite. Are there more of you who love R9 as well? Gunarola said no. They played Stefan Givash and Christophe Dugarry up front with Trezeguet on the bench. Oh, good point. Dugarry's old school, man. I remember him. George Best was simply the best. Cafu, you like the right back. Messi for me. I get it. Messi, he's one of my favourites as well. But Thierry, Ian Wright, Eddie Nketiah, Roy Keane, Zizou and Bergkamp. 3 very different players. Henry and Ronaldinho, says Luca. Zidane. Listen, Zidane is another one, man, that he played the game at his own tempo. You know, I always said that performance against Brazil 2006, Gold Predators, one of the best individual performances I've ever seen in football. I absolutely love Zidane as a player. People saying I'm harsh on Messi. Listen, I love Messi. I think in terms of achievement, Messi is the GOAT of football. He won the World Cup, he won the Champions League, he won 8 Ballon d'Ors. Messi is the GOAT. He's just not my personal favourite. Are you doing a watch along tonight? I might do. Keep an eye out. Keep your notifications on. I used to like Michael Owen at Liverpool. He was a beast. Chris says the King, Thierry, R9 and Bergkamp close. Thierry, Andrea Pirlo. Messi played in both eras, you're right. And a lot of you saying Diego Maradona as well. And Pele, obviously a little bit before my time. So, yeah, don't put them in. Well, I do put them in, but they don't make my top 3 just because I never saw them. A couple of you saying CR7 as well. People, thank you very much for tuning in. Great show as always. We've been on for nearly an hour and 15 minutes. I will be back tomorrow. I may be on tonight. I might do the Real Madrid-Chelsea watch-along. But if not, I'll be back tomorrow. And we're definitely going to do that world-class debate show with the tier list. Because there's some people telling me that Vinicius ain't world-class and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to have to debate that. That is for sure. Big up to all of you for tuning in. Thank you for those who've subscribed and liked the video. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.